Good morning to you, Guyana. You can see that I'm Guyanese, right? Of course. So, why I'm doing this video here is because, everybody's going on Facebook and YouTube and all that. So, I thought to myself, maybe I should do the same thing. So, let's try this. You know, I have lived all my life in Guyana. So, I'm about 60 years old almost. So, I was in my teens when we had to experience the abuse of the Burnham regime. I cannot call that thing government because government are supposed to work in the best interests of me. And for your information, I am the majority. Let me, you know, and why I say I'm the majority, here's why. So let's look back in the 70s. It's about 3 to 500 people, which is about less than half percent of our population. I was not in that half percent. And those people that were in that half percent, in the days when Burnham had power, you can certainly identify them and they can identify themselves. And they were not the majority. Let's recap a little bit. I remember because of the poverty. Remember, I grew up, if I was born in 1964, I had about 7 years before we started experiencing poverty. And in those 7 years, life was really easy. And I could remember that because I used to visit grocery stores with my mom. So I can remember that. Again, I am the majority. I remember in my teens, I used to wish if I was living on the east coast of the Marara. You know why? Because poverty was so much, things were so bad, groceries, everything was so scarce that I wish if I had the opportunity to go to Hope Estate. How many of us did that? And to the students of today, and these guys at university, and all these bright people today, these people that were educated with our money or our struggles, I want you to remember that those are things that we did. Yes, many of our parents went to Hope Estate to dig coconut. You know for what? Not for a salary, for food, for 2 cakes, blue soap, and no flour. I don't remember what it was. Probably some rice and maybe some sugar. Yes, because we planted sugar. And a few basic items. And maybe because dal was banned, quite a few things were banned. So they couldn't give you flour. I doubt whether. But I just imagine growing up as a teenager and wanting to go to Hope Estate to dig coconut, bust coconut, whatever we had to do there for free. Well, not for free, for the pittance that Burnham had to give us. I have passed hating Burnham. I don't hate Burnham anymore. I used to. Today, I pity Burnham. Joblessness. There was nothing to do. You grew up in a time where you look around and you can go and teach if you're educated. And when you teach, you'd probably get about $300-400 a month. But a pair of shoe was $700. So when you did the maths, it didn't make no sense. Public servants were probably earning about the same thing, 3, 4, 500 dollars a month. They couldn't buy a pair of shoes with the money. That is what we experience. And I am the majority. I want this to sink in. In Barnum days, there was something called productionlessness. It's a new word. But you know why that's important? Because the sugar was being produced less. The rice was almost dying or dead. I remember also that farmers used to go 10, 15, 20 miles down in the backlands and farm rice before, in the 60s. When I grew up in the 70s and 80s, I didn't even know that those farms existed until 2000 and odd. After 2000, when farmers went back into those lands. And if you live on the quarantine, I would mention the schemes. You know, not Blackbush, the schemes that Cookrit and all those areas, and many of them, they're all over the place. What I'm trying to say is, I was the majority. And you know who controlled my life and my destiny? The minority. Not more than 300 to 500 people. So how did that happen to us? People like me and you. Many of you. But you know, this lesson is not for me and the people who are my age. This lesson is for the people of today. The people who have been blessed because of who we were and what we did. I'll tell you those days what the majority did. Oh, there are many more stories I can tell you about the Barnum era. But do you want me to bore you with that? Of course not. The research is there, man. Do it. We have Google. And you have me, Facebook, and YouTube, and all that. It's there. The majority of us, you know what we did? When the minority was taking control of our lives and manipulating us? And you think the majority was PNC, right? Maybe. But that's a different story. We suck up. A lot of us recognize that if you gravitate to that 0.5% there and you suck up to them, then you're going to get benefits. Because we were hungry. It's something that we could do, right? Suck up. But what we sacrificed was us. Was the power that lies within us. The humans, the God, the everything good about us was sacrificed because we suck up. We didn't have pride and we didn't have integrity. We suck up. We went to a place that we know was evil, but there were benefits there. There were benefits and there were things to have. Many of us, all of us didn't do that. Many of us did that though. And was okay. And we are still the majority. But in times like those, that's what we do. Some of us. A lot of us escaped. We went to Suriname. We went to Barbados. We went to the British Virgin Islands, the US Virgin Islands. We went all over the place. We still are all over the place. And maybe that's a good thing that we are all over the place. I don't know. Let's find out. So we're in America, Canada, England, all over the place. We escaped. That's what we did. We escaped from the minority. And some of us got corrupted in the process. And a lot of us were ingenious. We circumvented and we survived. For survival, look at that Hope Estate thing. We were treated like dogs. Oh, that's harsh words? How do you treat a dog? You're busy with your life, and then he comes up and he runs to you and he's showing you a ton of love, and then you pretend that you're petting him, but you're busy in your head. You got your own stuff you're fixing. And you give him food, but you keep him on a leash. So he's got no freedom, really. And he thinks you're doing great by feeding him. And you think, you know that you're just giving him the crumbs. You're giving him a fraction of your attention. So, us human beings have a few people that does that to us, and the majority of us, we do nothing. We accept the dark treatment, the pittances. Something is lost here, isn't it? You know, I have to mention a few things. And I'm talking about Guyana, and I'm talking to Guyanese. But this is applicable all over this planet. In every situation where abuse of the majority occurs, and the people that I'm speaking to are people who are intelligent enough to appreciate that truth. I remember Desmond Hoyt. I think that man was among the majority. But the minority never thought so, up to this day. And I think why? Let's look at what Hoyt did. Hoyt gave us back food to eat. And in a few short, I don't know if a year went by after Burnham died, that Hoyt came in power. He brought back food for us to eat. He went to the IMF. He said, you know what, we're in a bad place. Let's have this discussion. They revalued the dollar to what it really was. I mean, devalued then, but we give it its actual value. I don't want to get into details and about all the mismanagement and the stupidity that occurred in the finance and the black marketing of our money and all that. The people who know remember. So I'm asking you to please remember, because it wasn't so nice. It was terrible. And we lived through that. People in my years. But I'm asking you today to respect people like Desmond Hoyt. I don't think the PNC has much good to say about him because he lost the elections. He was supposed to continue rigging the elections. He wasn't supposed to be a man of integrity. He wasn't supposed to be a man of honor. And you know what? The majority of us, because of racism, we still don't respect that man, even though he had a good soul and he did many of the best things for Guyana. I wonder what the history books would say about him. But I know what they'll say, because history is always written properly. It's supposed to be unbiased. Freddie Kissoon is a man that would be an authority in that state of affairs. After IMF came in, our country did better. Investments came in. People, the wider world started liking us a whole lot. And shortly after, we had Shetty. That man is also in the majority. And remember, I relegated Burnham to the minority. Shetty Jagan was the most long-suffering, humble human being that I can remember. And he did it all with grace and good stride. I think he is not only in the majority, I think he is great. Great meaning the people that are able to sacrifice them, their physical desires, their physical needs, their physical whatever, for the better of a greater part of humanity. I don't see anything else, any other category of greatness. So I'm going to ask you now, how do you identify? Are you in the majority? Let's look at it like this. Bullies. I'm trying to get to a point, and I'm getting there. We went to school. Many of us suffered from bullyism. I did. I beat the shit out of him after a few months of, suffering. It was a huge guy. I'm small. I'm less than 5. I'm about 5'6". I'm puny. I'm not a big guy. And this guy was huge. He was like double my weight and everything. But one day I got up and I beat the shit out of this guy, man. It was like blows nonstop. And he went down. And I was celebrated on that day. What I'm saying is, the majority of us are fearful. We are afraid. We allow bullyism. And we know that the bullies are really not strong people. In their minds, they take advantage of the majority. And the majority are not bullies. You know who are the majority? I am the majority. Are you in the majority? Are you the people who, in your growing up years, your parents were humble, honorable, hardworking people? Were your parents people that went to church, people that didn't steal, they didn't tell lies, they taught you all the good things, they taught you to be honorable, to be sincere, to be respectful? The people that didn't go to church, they went to the mandirs, they went to the temples, they went to the masjids, and what they learned? The same things. Honor, respect, love for humanity, love for nature, love for all the good things, and to work diligently to achieve what we desire. Love for brothers and sisters. Love. Now that there, my friends, honesty, love for God's planet. Now that there, my friends, are people that are in the majority. I'm going to close this discourse here. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you who is in the minority. And what these people do, they lie, they steal, they cheat. When they lie, they're pretensive, and they have all the characteristics of evil. They deceive you. And why they do that? Because in their minds, they need everything. They need more than their fair share of what this world has to offer. And in order for them to achieve that and get that, let me give you an example. Many of us my age know what Burnham did with his money. His sibling, his generation is still there. And did the PNC ever said, you know what, Burnham didn't do so nice. He took his money and they said it was in Sweden, in the Swiss bank. So the kids and all them had to go to the Swiss bank to that part of the world and live so that they could enjoy our money. That's forgiven, right? The majority forgives. That's what they do. And then we forget also. Evil has been allowed to manipulate and manage our lives for too long. A time is here where the majority of Guyanese and the majority of people that are good on this planet have to understand that we are not a race. We are not a kind. We are not a tribe. You know why we are the majority? Because we are children of one supreme God. On another video, I'm going to explain how we are equal. Are you in the majority? Please like and subscribe to my videos, and I'll continue to tell you more about us, the majority. And a very good morning to Guyana.